Okay, guys, so here are our surface area notes. We're going to go ahead and start off with just a couple different notes about surface area and about what you're going to see in surface area problems. So these are the type of images and shapes that you're going to see for surface area. These are actually called nets. A net, for your definitions, are 2D patterns of a 3D shape. So these are your 2D pictures, and for example, you'll see a couple of the 3D shapes instead, or as well as actually. So we have a pyramid, and we have prisms. To tell the difference, you actually look at the bases. So a pyramid has one base. This is our base, and this is our base. For prisms, you actually have two bases. So this and this is for that base, or that prism, and this for this prism. We also need to be able to identify what type of shapes we are looking at. So because we know one base is a pyramid, we now look at the shape of the base, and because it is a rectangle, we now have a rectangular prism. Or sorry, pyramid. Make sure you're spelling and writing that correctly. And then down here at the bottom, we have a triangular pyramid as well. And then the same thing on this side. So two bases we know is a prism. So this one is actually pointing down to the triangular prism. And this one is the rectangular prism. Okay. So now that we know how to identify our shapes, we're also going to look at what type of surface area you will be finding. So you have total and you have lateral. Total surface area, you find the sum of the areas of all sides. So all sides, you look at your picture. For lateral, we are going to find the sum of the areas except for our bases. Okay, and that'll make a little more sense once we actually start looking at examples, which is next. Okay, so our first example is going to be a rectangular prism because our two bases over here, let's see, this is a base right here, and this is a base right here. So our bases are rectangular, therefore it is a rectangular two bases prism, so rectangular prism. With this, we need our formulas, which I'm going to write up here, not with a highlighter. Let's see. So rectangle area is a base times height. So you're going to come over here and look at all of these awesome shapes that I drew. So we're going to do base and height. So 7 times 3 is 21. This little one, or this middle one, is 7 times 6.5, which comes out to 45.5. This becomes 7 times 3 as well, and 7 times 6.5 again. Okay. And then for these outside ones, we have 3 times 6.5, which comes out to 19.5, and our bases are always the same. So that's going to be 19.5 as well. So now we have all our areas. Time to find lateral versus total. So I would always say find the lateral first. Okay. So lateral meant sum of the areas. So we found all the areas except for the bases. So in this case, you're not going to add the 19.5s. to your total. So we're going to have 45.5, 45.5, 21, and 21. Make sure when you're adding that you match up your decimals or you're gonna get an incorrect answer. So this adds up to, bring my decimal down, and it was centimeters. 133 centimeters squared is our lateral surface area. So this box right here takes up lateral, so everything but the bases. So down here, I'm going to pick a different color real quick. We're going to do our total surface area. So total is all of the bases. So now that we know this inside section, all of these sides here, we're going to go ahead and add in our 19.5s to that. So you can take the 133, which is why I said do lateral first, and add 19.5 to it. Both 19.5s to that. So we're going to add that up here. And bring my decimal down. Centimeters squared, 172 centimeters squared is our total surface area. Okay, and remember, if obviously this is a video that you're watching at home, so if I'm going too fast, pause, write everything that I wrote down, and then make sure you email me or let me know if you have any questions at all while we're going through this, or while you're going through this. Our next example, we're actually going to switch over to triangular prisms. So this right here is a triangle. This right here is a triangle. So two bases is a prism. Both bases are triangles, so it is a triangular prism. So first we need to write down our formulas. So we have, I'm going to write them over here. We have our rectangle area, which, like I said before, is base times height. And we also have area of a triangle now, which is 1/2 base times height, or base times height divided by 2. Okay, so multiplying by 1/2 or dividing by 2 is the same thing. So now let's go through and find the area of all our sides. We'll do the rectangles first because that's a little bit easier. So we have 4 times 5, which comes out to 20. 3 times 4, which comes out to 12. And then 4 times 4, which comes out to 16. Okay, and then our triangles over here, your base is the 3, your height is the 4. So 3 times 4 is 12. Divide that by 2. So our triangles here are 6. Okay, so now we can come over here to the side and find our lateral surface area. So everything but the bases. So 20, 12, and 16. Add that up. And again, this is centimeters squared. So our lateral is 48 centimeters squared. And so now we're going to go ahead and do our total surface area. And you take your lateral, and now you add in your two bases, which we knew was 6. So when we add that up, we get 16. centimeters squared. Okay. And I have one more example for you for triangular prisms. Okay. So we identify our bases. So our two bases, which are triangles. So again, we're going to write our area formulas. It's the best thing to do for your first step is write those formulas down so you do not forget what to do in your steps, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and go in and find all our areas. So base times height for our rectangles. Which is 15. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 2.5 again is 15. And so for our triangles, our 4 is our base. And actually, this 1.5 is our height. So you're going to do 2 times 1.5, which comes out to 6. And then you're going to divide that by 2, which comes out to 3. So our triangles here are both 3. So now it's time to find our lateral surface area. So we're going to add up the sides, everything but the bases. So 15 plus 15 plus 24. Okay, and it is meters and squared. There we go. Okay, and switch over colors for total surface area. So we're going to take 54, and we're just going to add in those two bases. And it's meters squared. So our lateral is 54 meters squared, and our total is 60 meters squared. Okay, so we have one last example, and this is going to be for the prism, or no, sorry, pyramid. So we locate our base. So we have one base that is a square, which makes us a square pyramid because there's only one base. So one base, pyramid, square, square pyramid. Cool. So then we have to we need to write down our formulas. So remember, a square is technically a rectangle. So we have base times height. And then we have triangles, which is 1/2 base times height. Also base times height divided by 2. Remember, those are interchangeable. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and find the area of all our shapes. So inside here is 2.8 times 2.8 because it is a square. Okay, sorry about that. The pen wasn't working. And that becomes 7.84. And then for our triangles, our base is going to be 2.8, and we're going to multiply that by the height, which is 5.5. And this comes out to 15.4, but don't forget it's a triangle, so we have to divide it by 2. It comes out to 7.7 in each of these. Okay, so again, we have lateral surface area, and that's everything but the bases. In this case, it's just one base. So you can do 7.7 4 times or times 4. And then we have 1 decimal place, 1 decimal place. So lateral is 30.8 centimeters squared. And then our total is everything, including that base. So you can take your lateral and just add in your base. Okay, so keep moving over. Our total is now 38.64 centimeters squared. And that is a brief lesson on surface area.